This week on Another Brother.
That's why I just don't trust clowns. It's not that I'm fearful of clowns. I just do not trust them.
Well, I'm glad we weren't traumatized from our early years of extremely irresponsible horror like exposure.
So that's like the entry level, and then the next level is remote viewing. Then what? What the heck is stage 5 and 6?
Yeah. Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Becoming at 11.
Brother over here, brother over there, brother everywhere. Another brother.
Well, October is upon us.
It's one of our favorite months.
Out of all the months, it is my favorite month.
Mm.
And you've got 12 to choose from.
Yeah,
it's a pretty high. It's a high award. Yeah,
I was telling Liz, every year I forget how much I like fall. Nice, cool, crisp air in the mornings. Could still warm up to be comfortable temperatures in the evenings.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the colors changing. Apple cider. So that's like just the season itself, and then you throw in all of the Halloween-y stuff,
right?
And just that feel of fall as well.
Yeah,
it's a good time.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about fall for me either, but I think in general you're supposed to feel the most rejuvenated and renewed in spring. Like that's what spring is supposed to be.
New beginnings.
Not for me. Fall all the way. I just feel so alive in the fall. I don't know why.
I think it's because there's more rain. There's more noise, if you ask me.
Maybe, yeah.
At least from Oregon.
Right.
And it was colder and crisper. So like the cold air kind of helps you snap in and
all the fog. I like fog.
The fall weather is definitely nicer in Utah.
It's drier in general.
Yeah. So it's not as wet as Oregon. So like you can sustain being outside for long times.
Right.
And and all the coloring and changes.
Yeah.
In Oregon, it was always just, stormy, which I like too.
Sure.
So I really did like that. Then you have the wet, soggy leaves everywhere on like every sidewalk and street. And so you have all that smell with it too.
Right. Yeah.
And the smell of worms coming up out of the ground whenever it rains.
Right.
Worms make a smell.
Iron. You the smell of
petrichor?
rain?
It's called petrichor.
Petrichor.
That's what the cause of petrichor is? It's the worms?
I haven't heard that before.
I'm pretty sure.
Because they're drawing up elements with them out of the earth?
Coming out of
what I've heard is it's the dust. As the water hits the ground, like dust comes up into the ground. And
I'm pretty sure ever since elementary school, when I saw worms coming out of the ground and hanging out on the blacktop, and it was raining, and I smelled that smell.
So you decided that's what...
I just knew. It was evident.
Okay.
Well, either way, yes, I also enjoy petrichor.
And we're having or at least we did for a couple weeks, like a week or two ago, a real fall in Utah this year too. But it's back to being a bit warmer than I would normally consider to be fall weather.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was in the 70s today.
Yep. Yeah, actually 80s today.
80s?
Yeah. Last 2 days
low
even,
80s.
I think.
Super sunny. I mean, I sweat on our evening scooter. I hate that. What the heck?
Yeah, we've had some rainstorms the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
It's been nice.
Cooler temperatures. Larissa and I went for a hike.
Yeah.
It's a great hike, too. Have you been out to that canyon? Adams Canyon?
I'm pretty sure. I don't know if I've gotten into the canyon, though.
Oh, it is a bit of a hike just to get into the canyon from the parking lot.
Is this with the sandy switchbacks?
Yeah.
I hate.
Yeah, the switchbacks suck.
I hate that hike because we always have the kids. I can never get into it far enough to enjoy it
because of the
so
kids.
It's just miserable.
Yeah, That's a fair point.
I have never gotten to a point where I'm like in trees
Right.
or cover.
Well, then you need to go back one time where you can go for the hike.
That doesn't exist.
Okay. Well, well, once you get into it, I think it beats Rock Canyon.
It's a great hike. It's very different though.
It's steeper. It's like somewhere between Rock Canyon and Slate Canyon, as far as like rigorousness of the
Wait,
hike
does
goes.
this have a waterfall at the end?
Large waterfall.
Okay, I have been.
Okay.
I don't know how. But yeah. So during winter? Did you and Heather go during winter, Jacob?
I've never
Ooh.
gone with Heather in the winter. No.
Okay. Then I think I'm thinking of one up in Ogden. Maybe.
Well, this isn't really what we were going to talk
Well,
about.
I was going to say,
yeah.
With the rain, I work in the basement, but I've got a nice big window. It's a basement that's like, half sunken.
Right.
So it's a big window well. I can see outside to the backyard, to the side of our backyard, and I can see when it's raining. And there's a plant that drapes over, and I can see that it's wet and dripping off. And it's nice and cool in the basement. And again, it just, while I'm working, it brings in that fall feeling to me. And I just get this sense of like needing to consume scariness.
Yeah. Yeah.
I usually find like a podcast that, actually I found a new one to tell you guys about. But yeah, and I just listen to creepy stories and it just makes me happy.
I get so sad that I work so much in audio and I can't listen.
Yeah.
It hurts. I want to listen to like a Stephen King book or something.
Yeah, I would love to as well. I think I told you guys years ago, all I had access to was Booty Mix. These two YouTube compilations called Booty Mix. It was like Booty Mix 2016 and Booty Mix 2018. And it was like just...
Pirate booty or like rapper booty?
Not pirate booty. Booty, you got a big booty.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't even know how to refer to it. It's so far out of my element.
Why would they allow... Never mind. Let's not go there.
Who knows?
You weren't there for the episode that came out today.
Mm-hmm.
The today of while we're recording right now. So you'll have to listen to it because it's about a haunted experience I want to go do.
Okay.
It's in Kaysville.
I'll tell you what, if we combine what I talk about today with that experience, I'll go.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Teeing us up.
Huh.
A little early, but... So I think we've grown to enjoy scary stuff, haunted stuff, horror. I think because Dad.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Dad liked it first because Grandma.
Yeah.
And then how did Grandma get to like it?
I don't know that.
Oh my
I
gosh.
don't know.
That's what we need
I never
to ask.
remember to ask her.
She's just the
That's the
OG,
question.
the original Grandma. Probably. And yeah.
I mean, she's got a ton of Stephen King and Dean Koontz. And
Yeah.
Which
and
are
she
probably,
watches scary movies.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the aunts watch them all together. So like it wasn't just Dad either.
Right.
Yeah. And Dad, collects Stephen King first editions and
Not all the first editions, but all of the books.
Yeah.
Right. He would love to have all the first editions.
Yeah.
Last I checked, Carrie is like, it's still not a ton when you think about collectibles, but it's like, like a mint edition Carrie first edition is like, I think 13,000 or something.
Oh my.
Which I guess if you consider that he's still a contemporary author and he's still living and writing, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But in terms of the world of collectibles, that's nothing, right?
I suppose.
It's probably
I
not
don't
even the
know.
most valuable though.
I did just find that I own a card, Magic the Gathering card, that could be worth a couple to a few $1,000s if I could find it. I've misplaced it. I don't know where it is. So I don't know what printing of the card it is.
This is a big
and that's everything.
furry beast. What's that one called?
No,
Friendly
it's
Giant.
not furry.
No.
Definitely not. It's Lord of the Pit.
Was that the 2-card one?
No,
It was like a
okay.
9/9 creature, though, I think.
I think it's 7/7.
Okay.
That was kind of a limit back
He was
in the
like
day.
kind of like this black, craggy skin that was
He's
like
like-
pitted and stuff.
He's like the demon guy in Fantasia, or it might be Fantasia 2000. I can't remember which. But like, I'm pretty sure it's the original Fantasia. There's a movement where like this demon comes up out of the earth. Or like the earth like cracks open. And he like comes up out of the earth, and he's like conducting everything with big muscular arms, and ghosts are flying out of the ground and looping around all over the place. No?
No.
That might have been the
No?
original.
Okay, well, just a black, leatherly
Yeah.
winged demon,
Yeah.
muscular torso guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I remember it.
You've had that one for a long, long time.
It's
High
one of the first
school.
cards I
yeah,
got. Yeah,
because I remember that take your kid to work day, Dad's office. I remember you guys brought magic, and I remember
wow, I don't
the card
remember
at
this.
that point.
I just remember filing things and breaking windows.
I'm watching Snow White breaking windows. Yeah,
Man, I don't remember this
I don't
at all.
remember that. Snow. Maybe Jacob got to do the fun things while we were put to work.
That would make sense.
That would make sense.
Yeah, Danny traded me a bunch of my rocks for a bunch of his cards. And in that set of cards was this Lord of the Pit. So I really hope it's not one of the really valuable ones, or I'm going to feel really bad.
Yeah.
it's on him.
Sorry, got sidetracked by collectibles, I guess.
So my earliest memory of watching something horror was it at Grandma Stewart's house.
Oh, at
On the
Grandma's
beach.
house.
You didn't.
Lincoln City?
You didn't watch
No.
that at the same time I did you?
I was like,
You would have been
6
5.
Yeah,
because I was 7.
yeah.
Scared the crap out of me.
Yep.
That's why I hate spiders.
Oh, I hate spiders because of arachnophobia.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I thought you did too,
definitely,
Alex.
Definitely. But it started with it.
Okay.
I don't even remember getting to that point in the film at Grandma's. I just couldn't get past Pennywise. That dude freaked the heck out of me.
Tim Curry was an excellent.
And the whole Georgie scene.
Yeah.
e-
They all
they all
float
float
down
down.
here,
Yeah.
Georgie.
With the
They all float.
Ugh. Yep. That's why I just don't trust clowns. It's not that I'm fearful of clowns. I just do not trust them. If you're dressed up like a clown, I'm going to be watching you.
Yeah.
And my kids.
Well, that's funny. I feel like that's the first truly horror movie I remember watching too. Not at Grandma's.
Huh.
But Dad taped it, and he would watch it at home too. I don't think I actually like sat down and watched the entire movie, but I feel like I was around 5 as well, and we saw parts of it. Man, and then there was, The Shining, Tommy Knockers. Like Dad taped,
Yeah.
all of them,
All the,
and I saw parts of all of them.
Yeah.
At such a young age. Sometimes I wonder how we weren't. What's the word?
Scarred?
Yeah,
Traumatized.
how we weren't traumatized.
I joke because, they didn't like us watching The Simpsons at home,
Yeah.
but we'd watch we'd watch Friends.
Right.
And all these Stephen King films. Even the big one, Dean Koontz, Intensity.
Oh, yeah.
That was, I think Dad recorded that. I remember watching that as a kid.
That
And that's the
was
first
made into a film.
Yeah.
made for TV.
Oh, I hadn't seen that. I
Yeah.
read it in 6th grade though.
Right. That's the first, I was going to say, that's the first scary book I remember reading. And I was middle school when I read that.
And Intense is accurate.
My favorite book, probably still.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Nice. For me, nothing has compared since seeing it at age 7 until The Ring.
I knew you were going to say it.
I saw that in the theaters with a high school girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember which year it was, so I don't remember which girlfriend, but I think it was my senior year.
Okay, big man. Jeez.
Whatever. Yeah, holy crap. That scared the crap out of me. That was... And we had an old CRT TV in our bedroom. I came home late at night from that movie, and I just I couldn't stop looking at the TV, just waiting for it to come on.
Who was it that we had over? I want to say it was Chris, but I don't know. But we were watching Yeah, we were watching it at home at night.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone freaking called, like right at the perfect timing with the scene.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
Oh,
I still have that DVD.
wow.
That it would have been the one that we were watching.
Yeah.
Parts of that were filmed in Oregon.
Huh.
The coastal.
Really?
The rest of it was filmed in
Jeez.
Washington State, I think.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah. Because all of Ring 2 is Washington State. Like
Mm.
the setting, place names, and everything.
Oh, yeah.
I think
We went to the theater too, though, didn't we? I feel like we
remember
did.
seeing
With
it in
like
the theater.
Adam and or Max.
Yeah, I don't
No.
remember that.
Okay.
That movie was horrifying.
It's so good.
That is a good one. Originally a Japanese movie.
Which I feel like I should watch. No, what was the other Japanese? So it was originally Japanese, not the picture one, Picture Island or whatever.
The
Shutter,
Grudge.
Shutter.
not Shutter.
Yeah,
The
Shutter.
Grudge. is what I
The
was thinking
Grudge,
of.
yeah.
Horrible. Like that was a
Yeah.
maybe it's
Bad
freakier in
adaptation.
Japanese, but yeah, the American
It is.
is better.
I've seen it in the original Japanese.
But Shutter
And Shudder. I've seen the original.
oh wow. See, I wouldn't understand any of it if I watched it.
Well, it was just subtitles.
Or dubbed.
But like the premise behind Shutter is like really kind of spread throughout Japanese folklore, I think.
The
I want to ask Jared about that.
cameras capturing a piece of a
Your
soul.
soul.
There are
Yeah.
a lot of cultures around the world that feel that way about
There
photographs.
are Japanese video games that use the same.
Fatal Frame.
Yeah.
So I feel like we watched Shudder.
Yeah, BYU.
Yes,
Yeah.
my freshman year.
Yeah.
Woo
Okay.
Woo is the one who rented it on Netflix.
Did he really?
Yeah. I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure.
We had Netflix back then?
The
Or Redbox.
DVD delivery.
Oh my.
Yeah, the
gosh.
original Netflix. And yeah, we had a bunch of people come over and we all watched it in our
Yeah.
apartment.
Then
I do
again,
remember that.
You could
was
watch.
good.
I think you could watch Netflix on the Wii. I think there's a Netflix app for the Wii.
Hmm.
Was the Wii with the big clunky handheld?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
So they must
No, that
have had
was Wii
streaming
U.
at that point too. Oh, which big clunky thing? The gamepad?
Yeah.
No, that's the Wii U.
Oh, so I know Wii U definitely did. I don't know about Wii
I don't know.
then.
I don't know. I thought it did.
Well, I'm glad we weren't traumatized
Yeah.
from our early years of extremely irresponsible horror like exposure.
I do wonder about why we weren't. But
Yeah.
go on.
So most people, someone like a Heather, would ask, "Why do you like it?"
Yeah.
That's so
Why?
funny. Shane just asked me, why do you like violence? Why do you like watching extreme violence? So, okay, go on. This was just last night, but
Good timing. And I don't have a good answer. I mean, I like the way
I have a little bit of one.
scared feeling makes me feel.
Yeah.
Like that's it. It's much like the whole aliens and cryptids thing. It's just the mystery
The
and the
eerie,
what if and the,
yeah.
Yes. I think that what you just said is key. What if? Because I think there's a part of your brain, at least with the horror anyway, that doesn't really believe it's real.
Yeah.
That believes it's definitely not real. But there's that little part of you that's like, but what if it is?
Yeah. That's why
And-
movies are great, because you're far enough removed
Right.
that you can completely safely enjoy it.
Right.
well, whenever I watch these, I'm like, I put myself in the role, right? Not the scary horror part of the role, but like the protagonist or whoever, the
Yeah.
victim. I
You're not
guess.
Jigsaw.
You're
No.
not Mama.
No. And then, have you guys seen Megan?
No.
Okay. I haven't either. I
Oh,
just thought of that
okay,
because you said
okay.
mama. I'm like, yeah, Megan.
All right.
But I put myself in like the role of the victims or the
Yeah.
protagonist of the story, and I'm always like, now go do this, and they don't
Right.
do it. I'm like,
Right.
nah. And so like that's part of it for me. Just
Right.
like the investment in their stupidity,
Right.
just really. And then like I guess that's part of like maybe the safety factor. Like, well, I wouldn't have been in that position because I would have done this other thing. So you guys
Mhm.
are idiots, and just keeps me like safe from the horror because I know I would have been smarter.
I think there's something adventurous about horror. And I
Yeah.
think that's probably why we like it. Because at least we used to be really into adventures, like spending all of that time in Rock Canyon exploring for the adventure of it. I think you're right.
Yeah, some sense of not naivety, but Yeah, just something new.
Yeah.
Pioneering a new experience.
One that we wouldn't be able to experience otherwise.
Right.
Yeah.
And since we don't believe most or any of that horror stuff is real, it's like, this is new. We can experience this for a little while.
Yeah.
So it's fun exploration.
Man, but I also love scaring people too. And giving them that sense of adventure and mortal terror.
As long as they're willing.
Yeah.
You know, last year in October, we said we were going to like, Alex already knows, do random like scares, particularly on Lizzie.
Oh, yeah.
Like, unexpected, planned, set up, scare her type things. And we just never did. Sorry, Liz.
We were lame last year with October.
I didn't really like the idea.
Oh.
I'm not sure I want to be scared, like confronted with it.
He's going to
don't know how I'll react,
is what he's saying. He doesn't want to hurt us.
Yeah, I didn't want to say no when it was brought up, but I was like, oh gosh, no, please no. I don't know what I'll do. But yeah, it's true. It's been challenging to like. I feel like life is so busy now. It's been really hard to celebrate Halloween the way I want to.
Yeah,
because it really is my favorite holiday.
Little kids. Especially it seems like these little kids, our group of little kids, really aren't into it yet at all.
Yeah.
From what I've heard, because I don't have any kids yet, which makes it all the more challenging for me because I've always want to do this stuff with you guys, and I don't have the kids to be like reminding me that that's what life is as a parent. I don't have that constant reminder that that's what life is. So it's like, I want to do this.
Yeah, they're just not old enough yet.
Caden is.
That's true. That's
I think
fair.
Caden's there now.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And cool. Henry will definitely tag along once he's old enough as well.
So we should do at least one horror event. We should do an horror escape room.
There's an escape room at the mall.
Right.
Oh yeah, there is.
Kind of detached, but
yeah.
Or a night hike.
I love a good fall night.
Actually, that's what
hike.
I want to do so badly. I was texting you guys earlier when Heather and I went down to Provo. Mm-hmm. I didn't come right out and say it. Right. Or did I? I want to go down to Provo one like Friday or Saturday night so badly and hike it.
When was that?
You were still on your business trip.
Still, yeah.
Yeah. I put everything on
I mean, yeah. I wanted to go down there and record a session in the canyon about our favorite time of the year. But I don't know how practical that is for all you guys. So I just have to wait for you guys to make it happen.
I like scary things.
Should we make it a full hour episode? No.
Dude, did you turn on the radio? No? What are those lights flickering?
Parrot?
Normal.
Hour.
Today, I want to discuss this crazy U.S. government-funded special access program called Project Lane.
Okay.
You might have heard of it, or pieces or components of it, without knowing exactly what it was.
As portrayed in Stranger Things?
Potentially.
Lines up.
Nice.
Yeah, probably. And it's very possible there's multiple similar projects. Sure. But this is early 1980s.
Okay.
Late 1970s to early mid-1980s. So in 1983, the U.S. Army, through one of its high-level directorates, acquired roughly $500,000 to fund this project. And it had been going on prior to this year. But in today's money, that's about $1.5 million. Okay, so $1.5 million to fund aspects of Project Lane. Now, let me tell you, I have a contract statement of work here for it that has been declassified in
Okay.
2003. Okay. And let me just read some of these items, like top level items that they're funding with this. Okay. Personnel identification and selection. Okay. So you're identifying people that are prime for this project, whatever this project is.
Got it.
Undetermined at this point. Target search techniques. And the detail of that is to investigate and test the target search technique of the, quote, discrete search and, quote, continuum search, aka dowsing. Methods of locating objects, individuals, and facilities.
Okay.
Item number 3, special orientation techniques. Concurrently training 4 Army personnel in coordinate remote viewing stages 1 through 3.
Okay.
Coordinate remote viewing. And I believe what that is you give them a coordinate. It's an obfuscated coordinate. So it's not like an XY or a lat long. Yeah. It's an obfuscated coordinate. And you test them to see if they can remote view that. So you know what the location actually is.
We're talking like telepathy.
We'll get there.
Okay.
But the term you're looking for is psychoenergetics.
My bad.
Of which telepathy is one, and telekinesis.
Sure.
Okay, here's another thing they were funding. Geophysical factors, extremely low frequency, remote viewing correlation studies. To investigate the possible effects of ambient, geophysical, low frequency electromagnetic factors on remote viewing performance.
All right.
And one more item, special orientation techniques. Train 1 Army person in stages 5 and 6. So that special orientation techniques where they train you on remote viewing, that's stages 1 through 3. So this last line item is to train 1 person on stages 5 and 6.
Okay.
So if they're starting at like dowsing is like your entrance level.
Like with the rods, that dowsing?
That's dowsing, yeah. So this would be
just
like,
making sure it's the same term.
Yeah. This might be more of like a telekinetic dowsing. Like a remote dowsing of sorts.
Right. Not using the
dowsing rods.
Hardware.
Right.
Just using whatever in your head to find something.
Yeah. So that's like the entry level. And then the next level is remote viewing. Then what, what the heck is stage 5 and 6?
Jeez.
Yeah.
Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Becoming at 11.
Okay, so this thing is...
Reminder, when Josh kept saying they were funding, they is the U.S. government.
Yes.
Stages 5 and 6. 5 plus 6 equals 11.
It makes so much sense.
It's all connected. So this initially, I'm talking about Project Centerline right now. So this is the funded Special Access Program that is used in Army Intelligence and Security Command, so INSCOM, to conduct these psychoenergetic operations. So they're operationalizing the science behind remote viewing, basically, to conduct military intelligence collection operations.
Science or pseudoscience?
Well, it's a great question.
I hope you have answers to it. I'd love to hear them.
Well, this is not a totally solved mystery.
Okay. Fair enough.
But maybe I'll come back with a totally solved mystery on that. I mean, it was apparently effective enough. Let me go into this. So, this Project Centerlane began in 1979. What I just read you was funding for 1983.
Right.
Oh, so they've had at least some success already.
Yes. So this was a continuing program.
Like outlining the stages, probably, through some experience with what people can do.
Yes. And they began at one stage with different sciences or pseudosciences or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they progress as they identified training and, how would I say it, techniques that were more effective.
Okay.
They, changed the program to follow these, like the most effective things until they got to something that I'll talk more in depth on called hemisync.
Okay.
It's a process called hemisync.
All right.
Think hemispheric synchronization of your brain.
Okay.
So I also have here in front of me a declassified briefing that the project manager, a guy named Lieutenant Colonel Busby, would give to people when briefing them on Project Centerlane. And again, at the time, so in the briefing, like this was a special access program, which SAPs are like the U.S. intelligence community's highest kept secrets. Like the most
makes sense.
critical programs that you have to protect, like the bare minimum of people who have a need to know about it.
Right.
Nobody else will know about it. Even if you have like, so we talk about Dave Grush and like his congressional hearing and things. He's talking about a bunch of SAPs.
Right.
And so the issue I had with the congressional hearings and these Congress people, but like, well, how come we weren't allowed to see this or know about it?
Special access.
Yeah.
That's not how it works.
There has to be oversight, but just because you're in an oversight function doesn't necessarily mean that you get to know everything that's going on.
Right.
Because that's how we protect the information and the sources and methods. So this briefing I'm looking at, like at the time, this was still an active operational special access program. And, they go through the introduction, like, okay, we're going to have you, sign this memorandum saying you acknowledge the details and requirements for receiving this briefing.
Mm-hmm.
So you know all the implications of now you know this information and here's your responsibilities moving forward.
Essentially an NDA.
Yeah, very intense NDA. So here he goes on his first slide. He says, sir, the INSCOM, so that's the U.S. Army's Intelligence and Security Command. The INSCOM Centerlane project involves the use of psychoenergetics for intelligence purposes. Psychoenergetics are the process by which an individual may psychically interact with objects, locations, organisms, or events. This includes such disciplines.
Or events.
Yeah.
So we're talking.
I have not had enough time to dive into what is called the gateway experience, but the gateway experience uses hemisync quote technology.
Yeah.
To basically prime the individual to be able to unlock these psychoenergetic innate abilities.
Where they can then interact with space and time, apparently.
Yes. So, yep, you nailed it. Space and time kind of becomes irrelevant. And according to this 70-page memo that was declassified, you can, as you progress through these stages, you can, the easiest thing, or not the easiest thing, but you can eventually look in the past.
Right.
You can remote view into the past.
What?
And then you can remote view into the future.
No.
This sounds like the hypnosis stuff that
hypnosis is part of it.
Larissa has read about.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Can we just say something about the fact that this 70-page document is a memo? No memo. Come on, guys.
It's more of a memorandum, I guess.
Isn't that what a memo is?
Well, memo is a short memorandum, right?
Okay. Because it's the shortened form.
Still feels like it should be a report.
I mean, it's like memo. It's memo format and memo letterhead.
That's so weird. For 70 pages.
That is pretty bizarre.
Anyway.
Yeah. What's nuts is, so that memo was written, it was addressed to the commander of U.S. Army Operational Group, so USAOG, which was headquartered at Fort Meade, Maryland. So a lot of people have sent in FOIA requests, but U.S. Army Operational Group as an organization doesn't exist anymore.
Or does it not exist
I don't know. It doesn't exist anymore.
All right.
And it took all the most sensitive saps with it.
So they
this sounds like what bullies used to call me.
Yeah, you sensitive sap. So yeah, a lot of people have sent FOIA requests for additional information, but it's you can't find the office to send it to because they don't exist. And they're like, okay, well, we know U.S. Army Operational Group fell under the purview of INSCOM, U.S. Army INSCOM.
Yeah.
So then they'd send the FOIA request to INSCOM, and INSCOM's response was, I don't know. That's not us. We don't know. That organization dissolved, and wherever they went to, if they went anywhere, the files would have gone with them, and we don't know.
Deep state.
Federal government at its finest.
Yeah.
So that's thrown a lot of people for a loop. Yeah. Okay. So this guy, this lieutenant colonel, who's the program manager for this SAP, Project Centerlane, says
something?
Busby.
Yeah.
Yep. he says this includes, so psychoenergetics, this includes such disciplines as psychokinesis, remote viewing, and remote communications.
Cool.
That is the crux of Project Centerlane.
I mean, the Duffer Brothers have obviously heard about this. There's just no way they haven't, right?
Yeah.
They had to have.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this was declassified in 2003.
The remote viewing in
Plenty of time.
particular, like, that's what I found so interesting about 11 and Stranger Things was when she was doing that.
Yeah. So then in this briefing, he talks about the history, and it actually goes back to 1972. So he says in the early 1970s, serious consideration for psychoenergetics, primarily in the form of remote viewing as an intelligence gathering tool, received great impetus.
This would have been shortly after, or shortishly after, Men That Stare at Goats.
Which was...
I think that was in the 60s, mid to late 60s.
Well, I think MK Ultra was 60s. That was the like LSD.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So this, like, they've been toying around with this, and apparently it started with the Soviet Union.
Okay, I was going to ask if it's accurate to say that this was in response to the Soviet Union.
Yep.
Okay.
So what I was reading was saying that we had collected on Soviet Union efforts towards these similar things and had determined that because the Soviet Union was funding it more and more, so they were escalating their funding and scope of these projects. And so the U.S. was like, well, crap, we got to get in on this. We don't want to, because they were afraid. So part of this Project Centerlane was to train individuals not only in intelligence collection, but intelligence counterintelligence techniques.
That's what I thought.
Remote viewing counterintelligence.
Well, that's what I was wondering.
Setting up
like,
shields.
Or misinformation, disinformation.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Was this actually just a decoy on Russia's part? Oh, yeah. Look at all this funding we're putting into a completely pointless thing that the Americans will totally waste money on.
Maybe. I saw a video. There's this Russian psychic gal who was like moving a watch across the table. It looked pretty bad, though. I'm pretty sure that was pretty fake. But
well, I'm gonna have to look into it from the Soviet side. I think they were definitely investing deep.
Okay.
Yeah. So interesting. In this briefing, he defines remote viewing as the acquisition and description by mental means of information blocked from ordinary perception by distance, shielding, or time. Information blocked by distance, shielding, or time. Using several apparently gifted psychic subjects, scientists conducted a review of CIA-sponsored tests. Much detailed, accurate information, some of it previously unreported, was provided about a secret. Oh, okay. So CIA tested a bunch of these people that seemed to have innate, already like psychic type. And they trained them briefly on remote viewing and then tested them. And these people that they tested, this is what he's saying, these guys were able to provide information, unreported, accurate, unreported, detailed information about a secret NSA facility, a Soviet research and development facility in Semipalatinsk. It's Romanized anyway. I don't know.
Yeah.
A guerrilla training base in Libya.
Whoa.
And then some redacted stuff. So some other things.
Whoa,
no!
Something so cool that it needed to be redacted.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's a
cooler
lot
than
of
that.
redaction in this.
Wow.
Yeah, so because of these successful tests that kept happening over and over, they just kept building the program and figuring out better ways to do it.
So I'm going to want to know if there's legitimate success out of this.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, that's what that was.
I know. Yeah. So if that's true,
Yeah.
they did in fact locate these facilities.
Mm-hmm.
Why did this stop? Has it stopped? Are we still doing this?
Well, so interestingly, in the early 80s, like 1981, they created a cover term, unclassified cover term, so you can talk about it in the public, called Grill Flame. And they created a joint service Grill Flame committee. So joint service meaning, Army, Navy, Air Force, whatever.
Yep.
Non-military agencies who would have interest in this. And this joint service committee for Grill Flame would meet to discuss this now broadening project. So it's not just Army anymore.
Yeah.
And Air Force was like, this is ridiculous, I'm out. Which is so true. I mean, when you talk about the services, like The Air Force, my gosh, these guys don't believe in anything. Like, they're so smart, so hoity-toity.
True, I guess all the alien sightings has been the Navy, not the Air Force.
Right? Air Force doesn't believe in these things. So the Air Force withdrew because they're like, psychoenergetics is a bunch of pseudoscience. Right. Going back to what you said earlier.
Right.
So they kicked them out. And they're like, fine, we're better now that we don't have them anymore. But I mean, that just shows that it started. Army was initially interested in 1972, and it blew up into a joint agency program that continued to receive millions of dollars of funding year on year, you know?
I just want to know, was the Coast Guard included?
Like, I'm not sure the Coast Guard was around.
Think about the SAR potentials of that. You know, like, where are these people? We got to find them.
Okay, well, listen to this. In his briefing, he says, I want to provide you with an overview of INSCOM's operational efforts over the past 5 years. So this would be 1979 to 1984, I think. He says, during 1979, we conducted 79 operational missions, 43 of which were dedicated to assisting the intelligence community during the Iranian hostage crisis.
What?
So these guys were supporting the Iranian hostage crisis through remote viewing on behalf of the CIA, the intelligence community. Okay, let me find the statistical wrap up. Overall, in the past 5 years, so 1979 to 1984, we have conducted over 750 operational intelligence collection missions.
Whoa.
Wow. That's...
And he even discusses here, you're talking about, like, do they still exist? If not, why?
Right.
So there's a lot of, as this conversation itself is showing, there's a lot of political and the Air Force, you know, a lot of questions like, really, are we really funding this? Is this for real?
Right.
So because of that, over those 5 years, they had a lot of personnel change, and it was really difficult to keep staffing the program effectively. So at this point in 1984, so he says our personnel strength at the end of fiscal year 84 will be 9 operational personnel and 2 support personnel. So it's just getting harder and harder to keep people, probably because of the stigma. You know, we talk about the UAP stuff too. Right. And there's just a stigma associated with anything that doesn't seem extremely rational or extremely logical.
Yeah, but if it's working.
But it's a sap, though. So that's part of it, right? So you can't, no one, like even the consumers or customers of the information coming out of this project are going to be so limited in number that you're probably not really able to demonstrate the effectiveness of the project very well. And so when you hit like the headwinds of political change, you're probably just going to get defunded.
Like in Alan Turing's Enigma Breaker. Codebreaker. Like, they couldn't talk about it until long after the war, that they had a basically computer for breaking Nazi encoding. Because, like, how much danger would those people's lives be in if anybody found out who they were?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then you don't want to tip your hand to the Soviets, like, in case their stuff's not working. But
better start using some of that shielding.
Yeah. I mean, it's just so fascinating. In 1983, they served 7 different customers, to include CIA, NSA, FBI. So clearly it's effective.
That's what I mean. That's why it's surprising to me that there was so much personnel turnover.
Yeah.
If the funding was there, the results were happening, why were people dropping out of the program, I wonder? Because as far as stigma, like, again, your special access, no one's going to know what you're doing. No one's making fun of you.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating. And they, so it's a fully enclosed, like, enveloped program.
Mm-hmm.
So they continue to study and research all aspects of what they're doing, to include one of these things that I said was being funded was
gateway
geophysical factors, extremely low frequency, and remote viewing correlation.
Right.
So apparently there was some evidence that extremely low frequency, ELF, electromagnetic radiation, has a negative effect on one's ability to use psychoenergetics. And so that could be like a radio frequency, an RF-based countermeasure to remote viewers. So if you just like, you're like jamming their psychoenergetic ability by transmitting an ELF frequency at them,
Huh.
Weird. Okay, so real quickly, because
Just put them in a Faraday cage.
It's like they're just like baking because like surrounded in metal. I'm not gonna have time to go into Project Gateway or the Gateway experience very much, but again,
this time, hopefully we'll come back to this.
I can't. Yeah. Oh, it's not 70 pages. It's 29 pages long. This memo.
Oh, okay.
Memorandum.
Still a dang long memo.
Yeah, it's a memoir. Who he was tasked by the commander of the U.S. Army Operational Group to assess the efficacy of this gateway process. So this is a private company called the Monroe Institute that still exists, and it's still doing similar products. It's still creating similar products and similar research and training. You can go and attend in person. You can purchase these training materials from them. And so the thing that they developed, which is called the Gateway Experience, is through, I guess, probably the trademark technology is called HemiSync.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's incredibly complex and kind of smacks of pseudoscience.
Sure.
It involves hypnosis. It involves a combination of many like theoretical underpinnings that they blend into a single like mental entraining technique,
right?
That they call HemiSync. So it includes hypnosis, transcendental meditation, biofeedback, and it basically, the point of it is to get the hemispheres of your brain in synchronicity,
right,
in both amplitude and frequency.
Huh.
And by doing that, you're able to they'll be doing brain scans on people, right?
Right.
And when you can get the amplitude and frequency of both hemispheres in sync, the energy radiating off your brain, like, just kind of hones in like a laser. So they say a normal human, because of the way our brains are working, the electrical impulses coming off, it would be more akin to like a lamp, just an omnidirectional light source.
Or noise.
Sure.
Like a white noise.
Spurious noise.
Scattered.
Yeah. But when your hemispheres are in synchronicity, it's more like a laser.
Right.
Higher power, so higher amplitude.
Yeah.
Which
constructive interference instead of destructive interference.
Right.
Sort of a thing.
So I'm so glad you brought that up, because this, and Jacob, you'll like this. I can't find the guy's name right now, but a lot of this is based on a Russian guy. Boris Ski or something.
Add a ski on there.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's this thing where basically your heart, I can't remember what the process is called, but you talk about frequency. Frequency is just cycles per second.
Mm-hmm.
So anything that's cyclical can be measured in frequency or hertz, right? So your heart, your whole organic system can be measured in frequencies based on like how many pumps per second of your heart.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently there's some destructive blood patterns in your body based on the bifurcation of your like aortic valve and something else. And so basically one valve pumps blood down to your legs, and then the valve will close, but then there's a bifurcation somewhere lower down the line from your heart. And when blood returns, there's another return path else, or your heart pumps again as blood is returning, and pulses of your blood flow will collide and create, it's like a collision domain.
Weird.
Really?
Yeah. So you think about
it's like riptides.
Yeah. But by doing these transcendental meditations, certain yoga meditation practices, Zen meditation, this HemiSync process, you're able to slow your heart, and there's like an optimal rate of like 7 hertz or something, where there's no collision domain anymore. And you're basically, it becomes like basically a resonant frequency in terms of your blood flow.
But we measure heartbeats and beats per minute.
So we could translate hertz to beats per minute, right? To make it,
you could hertz times
an understandable thing.
Yeah, sure. I might have gotten that wrong too, because I can't find it. It might have. Don't quote me on the number, but basically there's like there is a specific frequency.
Yeah, sure.
Weird. Where you're not creating a collision domain.
The frequency being beats per second of the heart?
I think you're right. I think it was beats per minute.
Oh, okay.
Which is why I stuttered at 7, because that would be insane.
Yeah, even beats per minute. That's insane. Beats per second.
You're dead.
Freaking insane.
Yeah. I'll find the number eventually sometime. But basically, so it's a tape. So they have these tapes because to get your brain in synchronicity, there's certain audio tones and frequencies.
Okay.
And you go through these meditative breathing, and they relax you, and you turn your body into like a resonator, and you hum. You do like this undulating humming pattern to the sound in your ears. And
interesting.
So I have about 18, I think, of these tapes.
Oh, snap.
I don't know if that's the whole thing or not.
Do you literally mean a physical tape, or do you mean a recording?
I have a recording.
Okay.
Yeah. They were certainly tapes initially.
Sure. Yeah.
So I have it in digits. So they're MP3s.
Okay. And the point isn't really to listen to it so much as to reproduce in sync with it?
Well, here's where it gets really nuts. I read something from some guy who like researches this stuff a bunch, and he's not a fan of these guys anymore because he was reading their patents and learned through his understanding of their patents that what they did initially, the Monroe Institute, was they recorded the brainwaves of a bunch of people as they were doing research. And in fact, what they're playing over the tapes are pre-recorded brainwaves from other people.
Just random people in any old state?
No.
Or who are...
So allegedly part of this research group. So they like...
Yeah. I don't see anything wrong with that.
So while they are attempting to remote view those brainwaves...
I don't know.
Okay.
But the challenge with that, according to this guy, is basically, he said it's akin to, so say it's an organic process for you and you're able to do it on your own.
Yeah.
Then it's akin to you like plugging into the internet.
Sure.
You can surf whatever you want.
Yeah.
And receive whatever information you want.
Yeah.
But by having like someone else's brainwaves played into your brain and you're opening yourself up to receiving and synchronizing with their brainwaves, it's more like receiving a direct inject of malware. Or like being force-fed a specific web page. And so he's like, I don't trust these guys anymore because I can't control what brainwaves they're entraining my brain with. Which is it's super curious.
I can't agree with that metaphor, but we've gone long enough, so I won't get into it.
I'll leave it with this. I've done the first 3 tapes. Tape 3 is too hard for me.
Okay.
It also gets a little too crazy for me because you're like you're wrapping yourself up in energy and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's right. So it got a little too far out there for me, but the first 2 tapes are amazing. I have never been more relaxed in my life. And I feel like I like mastered the principles in the first and second tape. And when I'm doing it, I get these when I'm actually like in it, I get these crazy kaleidoscopic geometric visualizations in my brain that I can like physically track with my eyes. So I can like watch the kaleidoscope in my mental field of view as I'm doing like the humming and resonating and stuff. And it's just like, it's kind of like starbursts, but they're like hexagons and octagons and different colors, and they twist and turn and expand and contract, and it's crazy.
They're going to share these with us, right?
Yeah, I want to try.
They're huge. They're big files. So I need I'll need
like a
thumb drives or something.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dang it, that's what I was going to do.
Oh, shoot. Do it. You're going to do it better.
Thank you
For being our brother.
Wow, did
That
we
might
just
be too
nail that?
energetic, though.
Okay. we'll take another run at it then.
Okay. For being our brother.
The first one was too energetic.
Gotcha.
Production of this podcast is done by Alex Stewart.
With music by Jared Poff and Alex Stewart.
For show notes, rockin' merch, and other brother goodness, check out our website at anotherbrotherpodcast.com.
Be sure to come back next week and tell your friends so they too can become a
brother over here, brother over there.